What is up, expats? It is Josh with Expats Everywhere.
I'm Kaylee.
I'm G.
And I'm Amy.
And we're here to talk about the north of Portugal. If you guys have been following our journey, we have started in the south of Portugal. We've gone to each region in continental Portugal, and now we are up here in Braga. So what we're going to do today is we're going to give you one hot take from each one of us and then a first impression that we have. So without further ado,
what are we starting with? Hot take?
We're going to go hot take.
Hot take.
We're going to pop that up on the screen. Amy, go ahead. What's your hot take here?
I think I like how everything is really walkable in this area. I don't know. We haven't really explored much, but I do feel like I'm not sure how easy it is to get to other places. I feel like we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's nice. But I do feel kind of like, the middle of nowhere.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. The middle of nowhere. Gee.
Who, me? I feel like the kind of connections from the buses and stuff could probably be a little bit better in this area, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, like.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, it would appear that the timetables are very kind of spaced out. So if you was to want to go to another section of the town or closer elsewhere, you kind of have to kind of time it right. Be like, okay, I need to get back in this area so I can get the coach back to, let's say, central Braga.
Which is what we experienced.
Yes. Pretty much.
Yeah. I would say that my hot take is people are friendly, but not as friendly as Porto. I feel like there are friendly people here, but we've come across some not as friendly people. So it's a bit of, not a mix. I would say on the friendlier side, but not as friendly as Porto. That's what I'm going with.
But Grace said it was really friendly.
I know,
we did an interview with
really
Grace.
Friendly.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking though. She said it's really friendly, but I do feel like we've come across some people that aren't as friendly as in Porto.
Okay, fair enough. My hot take is that Porto compared to Braga kind of awoke me on this. Porto is really fragmented.
Yes, that is so true, actually. Yeah.
Do you want me to explain what I mean?
Yeah,
let me explain what I mean for the people. So we have the downtown area of Porto, which is Baixo area, and that's like the downtown, historic downtown. But the other downtown is Boa Vista, which is where all the businesses and such are. Like kind of the workers' hub is Boa Vista. So like, how are these two so far apart? You cross like several neighborhoods before you get to the other one. Yeah. Very fragmented.
And I would say like Santa Catarina and Serra Feita are like the pedestrian streets in Porto, but they're really far away from each other. So you could have more of that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Which will take us to our first impressions.
Yeah, which I'll go first because that's actually mine.
Oh, you're going to steal mine? You're going to steal mine?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would say that out of all the places we've been in Portugal, Braga, hands down, has the best pedestrian-only area. It's big. There's so much going on. Actually, we were standing in it the other day by one of the fountains, and there was like the little train that takes you around, the town and stuff. And I was like, I feel like I'm standing in Disney World. It was so polished and so beautiful and just easy to walk, no cars. That it was really nice. There's lots of flowers too, so it's nice and it's beautiful, and that is what got me thinking too about Porto being so fragmented.
I was gonna say, don't you dare take my other your second my first impression. All right, so G.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because of the area that we're in, but it would appear that so many shops are starting to open up again. Like it is, tourists are everywhere. There are loads of tours going around and such. It's really nice right now just to kind of see the town finally moving again. Yeah. So I really like that. Yeah. I really do.
I'm gonna go with the same kind of thing as Kaylee. I really like that it's flat, like it's super flat, pretty much. But and then all the walkable areas, and we've just been able to walk around with Sia, and
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take a first impression here. When we got here, I was blown away, and this is another comparison between Porto and Braga. I was blown away at how well manicured the garden areas are, especially compared to Porto. Like everything just seems to be like done really well.
Vibrant.
Everything's trimmed up.
Yeah, vibrant and just very manicured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to ask G and Amy to go ahead and man the production of this. Kaylee and I will slide into the middle. If you guys have a specific question for G and Amy, go ahead and put that in the comment section. We'll drag whoever back. And then we're going to get to the comments and answer your all's questions about the North.
And we've
So
got
Amy's getting ready right now.
Pincho chilling with us too. Valencia's asleep as usual. All right, let's get started. You want to go?
Yeah, well, I'm the terrible reader of the two, so you're going to have to read them.
Is Braga a nickname for Bragança district? It's different.
No,
Bragança is its own city.
Yeah, and we're in the Minho region.
Yeah, so they're actually two different cities, two different areas.
Yep.
Bragança is much smaller, right?
Yes.
Yeah, than Braga is.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Oh, it looks like I got a super chat rolling in.
Okay, Olivia, is there more job opportunities in that region of Portugal compared to Alentejo?
I would say yes, because there is yes. I'm gonna say yes because it seems like there are more multinational companies up here, especially in manufacturing, textile, electronics, that type of thing, more than Alentejo.
Well, I think you were saying too that this area is a bit more industrial as well, which is you'll get the factories and that stuff. And someone was actually just telling us that wasn't it this area that it's like Louis Vuitton and
Umberto
as in like near Guimaraes have big factories and everything here. So so I think more jobs. I think you'll get more of hospitality and service industry down in Alentejo compared to up here, right? You get that up here too, but
that's right.
Yeah. All right. I think we have a super chat.
Super chat.
Woo-hoo.
Wine for Kaylee.
Yay. Thank you, Kirsten.
We'll pop up that icon there. So if you guys want to see more of these icons, just let us know if you do a super chat who it's for. And we'll pop those up.
Thank you, Kirsten.
Amy drew them. They're amazing.
They are amazing.
All right, let's get to the next question.
Olivia, thank you very much for answering my question. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Emmy Studio, are there any wildfire smoke from northern part to Braga? We've not actually seen. We've not seen it. I know that if you track it on, on the news, that it's here, but we haven't actually experienced any of that smoke or anything.
No.
The whole time we've been doing this project, so I guess it's here, but it's not really affecting us.
Right. Look at that pizza for G. There he is.
Yes.
I saw another question pop up about G. What's your favorite pizza? So.
Oh yeah, that's
you gotta
Kirsten.
You gotta pop your head in here.
Well, here, scooch.
And funny enough, G and Amy went for pizza yesterday at Domino's. Yeah. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but it was Domino's.
It was
favorite pizza.
Favorite pizza. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna be basic and say it is pineapple pizza, but pineapple pizza without the ham. That's probably be my favorite pizza.
So just pineapple
and cheese.
And cheese, some tomato and sauce.
Okay.
All right.
There you go. Pineapple pizza.
Yeah, pineapple pizza.
Boom.
All right. Thanks, G.
Good question.
Brilliant. That's hilarious.
That is funny. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We've not. Okay, this is the cool thing. This is a good question. So, is English spoken in Braga as is in Lisbon? Okay. If you're comparing the two, probably Lisbon's marginally better, but that doesn't mean like, oh, they can't speak English in Braga. They can. But here's the great thing is a lot of people don't just default to English. And I think that's a knock on Lisbon. If you're trying to learn Portuguese, it's really difficult because people just automatically switch. But here in Braga, like they'll let you struggle a bit with Portuguese and they'll work with you. So I like that.
What's tough in Lisbon is because everyone speaks English, you don't know whether to just start speaking English or Portuguese with someone, especially because there's a lot of tourism. There are a lot of expats there. So it's like, you don't even know if Portuguese is even their first language. So it's almost easier. Though I got very confused there. Like, I guess I'll just start with English, assuming that they speak English, knowing that they would speak English, but not as much like that up here in the north, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So, okay. Cookmaster from DC. Great job, guys. Enjoy your content. Is the D7 getting tightened? If I get D7 visa, will this give me an opportunity to travel around Europe or limited by 90 days in 100-day rule? Much thanks.
Oh, no. So the D7 initially, before you do your SEF appointment, it will allow you 2 entries. So you get 1 entry into the country to start life here. And that needs to be on the date that you tell Seth.
You have your itinerary. You send your itinerary in. You want me to answer this?
Yeah, technically like how it works better.
So as part of your D7 visa application, you have to have your itinerary. So that would be your first entry date. Now, between that and your SEF appointment, which right now is around 3 months or so, give or take, just because they're backed up, then you can leave and come back one time. Once you have your SEF appointment, and that finalizes your residency visa, and you can be in the country. Well, you have to be in the country for at least 6 months consecutively, or 8 months in a 12-month period.
Yep.
So that whole 90-day thing, that's for the tourist visa. That's just coming in as tourism, 90 days for 180. Once you have your D7, then you can move around Europe because you are a resident of Portugal. So it's different. It gives you more flexibility. And I think actually, did you, the code?
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the screen there. So we do have a D7 course. If you guys are trying to DIY the D7, we have a course that helps you out with that. So it's not like 100% DIY, but we've made it kind of easy for you guys. And we've created a discount code. The discount code is Braga. It can be used for the whole week, the whole rest of the week that we're here. So it'll be good until Monday. That's August 16th.
Monday of next week.
Which is scrolling down there. Monday next week. Mm-hmm. So if you want to use that, get $10 off your course. And then we also donate another $10 to Windiest, which is an association that helps out dogs and cats and other animals in Porto. Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's keep rolling.
All right, Danny, we're going to be moving early next year to Portugal from Wyoming. We are looking for the coolest temperatures. How does Braga compare to Porto? That's a funny question because normally people are like, we're looking for the heat. We don't want the cool weather. So
Danny, I would say it's pretty similar. Mm-hmm. The rains are a little different. Braga is a little rainier.
I think so.
At least stereotypically it's rainier.
In the winter.
In the winter. Mm-hmm. But pretty similar.
Similar.
Little colder the further north you go.
Yeah, so it would just come down to preference of cities because Porto is much bigger compared to Braga. But Braga is getting bigger.
I won't say come to Porto, although come to Porto. But Braga's super nice.
But you'll definitely get the cool.
We see
cool
why people want to move here.
Yeah, it is really nice.
Sorry to speak over.
No, I was just saying cooler temperatures will be here. Okay, Susan, any curfews that you're dealing with? I actually think that there might be right now a curfew 11 p.m. on weekdays. I don't know. Actually, it might be done. They had one a few weeks ago, but it doesn't really apply to us because it's 11 p.m. on weekdays and we're in already because of SIA. Yeah. I don't think there are anything on weekends.
Restaurants might be closing a little early, but again, like
Last I read, which was actually just like a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of slowly, they're going through another deconfinement.
What does deconfinement mean?
Deconfinement means that they are slowly starting to lift restrictions.
Yes,
right.
That's a good way to put it.
I think last I saw was like things like restaurants need to close like 2 a.m. or something on weekends. So it's quite late. There's nothing like how it was where weekends, 1 p.m. or there's nothing like that.
Super sticker.
Yay. Thank you, HV Frederick.
Thank you.
For that super sticker. So so no curfews or anything. And actually I was also reading something that said as more people get vaccinated, they will continue with the deconfinement. So they're saying right now 52% of people in Portugal are vaccinated. And I think that as that continues to rise, then they will continue to scale back on those things. But really there's not really much. The biggest thing I guess you could say is right now on weekends, to eat inside, you have to have the vaccine passport.
Yes.
Just on weekends though, and inside, and no one wants to eat inside right now anyway because the weather's so great.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Who knows? Okay, next. HV Frederick, we so enjoy your content. Porto sounds like our speed. Are there clothes in suburbs you could recommend that we could rent something with a little garden but easily access the city? Oh, okay. So just outside a little bit of Porto?
Well, maybe just some.
Oh, in Porto.
Yeah.
So we do have, you might be interested in.
We have a playlist. And we'll put that in the description section below after this video finishes. Mm-hmm. And the playlist is the 7 most livable neighborhoods in Porto. I would say regarding the little garden area, it's funny because you can find some properties with gardens in the back.
You would never know.
You would never realize they're there. So it can be found. You just have to let the realtor that you're working with know that that's what you're looking for.
Yep. And it could be anywhere in the city.
Yep.
So, and if you have questions about that, feel free to email info@ExpatsEverywhere.com and I can help you with that. But check out that playlist.
Yeah.
Kathy JSS, how diverse?
My initials.
Yeah, that is. How diverse and family friendly is the area here in Braga?
It's great. Very.
There's all sorts of ages, types. Yeah, I mean, nationalities.
It's probably the broadest that we've seen, actually.
And lots of families.
Apart from Lisbon.
Yeah.
It's the broadest. You see a lot of people strolling around kids, a lot of middle-aged kids, right?
Yeah,
that are
like
out with their
teenagers that are out together with their friends,
it's cool.
skateboarding, and it actually is really diverse. And the good thing is it's much smaller than Lisbon, so it has a totally different feel than Lisbon does. So you will see that in Lisbon, but it's much smaller.
Yep.
So, good question though. Susan Murphy, thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Before you mentioned Almada, Lisbon area, what do you think?
Almada is the one that's right across the bridge. Dangerous.
Yeah, we actually spoke with a few Portuguese about it, and
that's it. That you're asking me my initial impression. That would be it. We obviously didn't spend very much time there. Actually, no time there. We just passed by there on the train. So we can't really comment. But if you're asking for initial impression.
More industrial, right? Not built up
very
as much.
Yeah, very working class. A lot of commuters
commute into Lisbon.
Yeah, so like cheaper housing, and then you commute across. Yeah,
but not super built up at this point.
Yeah. Thanks for the question and the super chat.
Okay, Leches 20. Can you get around Braga without a car?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
It's very walkable. I mean, a lot of the streets actually there aren't cars. A lot of the downtown streets.
I would say actually it's a little easier because when you get, some of the roads are very narrow and there's traffic, and then parking's not great. And actually you talked to
I talked to a parking attendant actually. And this is funny. I do want to mention this. As we've been touring around, we have seen that there are a lot of parking spots and meters and whatnot, but we never see parking attendants. So we were thinking like, well, how often do they ticket people for parking illegally?
Lisbon and Porto. Those are the only two places that we always see people given tickets.
So here as well, tons of tickets were being written.
Yeah.
Like in multiple locations, we were just seeing tickets. We were seeing tickets on the cars. So I asked the guy about parking, and he said it's really difficult to park downtown, like in the city center. And from 1
p.m. on Saturday.
1 p.m. on Saturday, thank you.
9.
1 p.m. on Saturday till 9 on Monday, it's free.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Monday morning. The rest of the time, it's paid.
Yeah.
But he said it's pretty easy to find parking outside of the city center. But just don't have a car.
Yeah, and you really
problem.
don't need one. And we have noticed that parking seems really tough inside in the city center area.
Yeah.
Good question, though. Alan Tan. Oh, thank you.
Alan, thank you so much.
Love you guys.
Like the Canadian dollar.
Yeah, thank you. Who's that for? Who's it for? So we can put someone up there.
Christian, thank you for the super sticker.
And also, Christian, you can say who yours is for too. It's the super sticker, but okay. Michael, would you consider moving there? Huh.
Yes.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the thing is, I guess we can go into.
We haven't actually talked about this.
Would you expat that? I think that the problem that we would have with Braga is that it's so similar in terms of climate to Porto, and we just like Porto better. There's just this feel that we have about Porto, this magical connection that we have with Porto. I
think because Porto is a little bigger too, so there is more going on. And like Josh said earlier, even though it's fragmented, I guess you have a different feel or vibe. I like to use the word vibe in the different neighborhoods. So almost like you go to one neighborhood for a lunch, and then different than your home, or the next day you're in a different neighborhood and it feels a little different. Whereas you don't seem to get that as much here because of the size. However, that pedestrian only area it's really nice. It's really great to see it too. Like, kids running around, just makes it easier because you're so far from cars, and there's just a lot for them to do. I mean, within this area, there are playgrounds and fountains and everything. So
it's the nicest.
But that is true. It almost seems like if you can move Braga a little further south, then maybe like you'd go there for the winter to kind of escape some of the coolness of the north part of Portugal. But alas, that is not the case.
Not the case.
But Braga
but we
is
would,
nice.
yeah, we would definitely live here.
And the cost of living is cheaper here compared to Porto. So if you guys are looking for something like that, you can find cheaper rent.
Yeah.
So there is that. Joyce, what do you think are the major differences and similarities between Coimbra and Braga? Do you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, I think I prefer Braga. Channeling back to Amy's answer, it is overall flatter here. The demographic of people is a little broader. I think that our interactions with people in trying to speak Portuguese have overall been better.
I think
Coimbra is a nice place. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think the demographic is probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
In Coimbra, there's a lot more university students. It's because of the university.
Yeah. Braga would fit like
everyone.
like a broader range of people, I think.
And it is true, it being flatter here is easier with the stroller and kids and everything. Coimbra was a bit tough with some of those hills, like the main ones.
With the stroller.
With the stroller. Mm-hmm.
We know that doesn't affect everybody.
Not everyone,
I mean, in a few months, we're going to be out of the stroller life. Well, not out of it completely, but yeah.
Okay, Kirsten, are there vineyards around Braga? I've seen, not signs, I've seen like on maps that they are, but we haven't actually seen them ourselves.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
the Vinho Verde, which is the green wine, is up from like in this region. Because we don't have a car, and didn't want a car up here. We really didn't research about the wineries and stuff. But yeah, you can certainly hit up wineries. Mm-hmm. You probably need a car, to be honest.
You would want a car for that.
We did notice, this is, I guess, something to mention. We did notice that Uber, we haven't tried both, but Uber is a bit more expensive around here, especially comparing it to Coimbra. Mm-hmm. So that would be another point of comparison there between Braga and Coimbra. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so ride shares are more.
All right, Doug, how are costs of living expenses in Braga compared to Porto? Good question.
Probably without making a comparison, and I would use Numbeo for this just as an aggregator, but I would imagine it's around 20% cheaper overall in Braga compared to Porto. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that probably comes down to housing. Mm-hmm. You can find cheaper housing here of the same standard. Maybe
a couple €100 less a month here, you could say.
Yeah.
And then on the food side, a little bit less, that's kind of comparable though.
Yeah. The interesting thing is because we've been in Porto long enough, we have found some really amazing food for cheaper than we found anywhere around the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That happens when you live somewhere, right? You find those.
Duas de Letra, for example, is a place that's kind of straddling Bonfim and what's the other neighborhood? Baixa Sé area. I don't know. Yeah. But anyways, that restaurant in particular, they have a set menu for $5.50 and it's like fancy food, like foodie food. $5.50. It's like so cheap.
And that's not super common in Porto, but
normally you're paying 8 to 12 would be like kind of a normal range for a set lunch.
But I imagine there are places like that here.
Sure.
Too,
we just haven't found them.
Yeah. We've only been here a week. So yeah. Okay. Simple Brian salutes from Figueira de Foz.
What's up, Brian?
What's the nature like around Braga? Hilly, I guess, right? There are mountains. Would you call them mountains?
Sure. I mean, I guess around Braga, you're looking at a more hilly landscape, similar to where you are, especially as you're going over to Coimbra.
Within
the city, there's quite a bit of green space. And again, it's well manicured. Mm-hmm. It's nice.
Parks and flowers and everything.
Yeah,
so
you'd like it.
Yeah. When we took
yourself up here.
The bus from Braga to Guimaraes, it was kind of mountainous a bit. Yeah. And it was really green.
Yeah.
Probably for the time of year.
Those tan lines.
Yeah.
Man, sorry, guys. Didn't mean to blind you.
But good question. Thanks, Brian. Hope you're doing well. Metal Gear MK3. Strange question. Which region is the windiest? I have heard that, and I don't know if it's necessarily the region, but I've heard that Aveiro gets really cold wind in the winter. And I think it's because of the location on the coast. So I think some of those coastal areas would probably be the windiest.
I've heard Cascais is super windy as well. People complain about it. I didn't notice the wind, personally?
I'm in the time of year.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
that's a good question. Not sure. It's probably
I think it's
a
windy,
Google
and it's
thing.
windy down in Sagres too, which there's not much going on there.
But that's like
because
the point exactly where it's located.
Yeah, because it's like this weird point, so it catches a lot of wind. So
Gets
I would
good
say
waves.
it wouldn't necessarily be a region. I just think a lot of the places near the coast tend to be windier. So if you're up further north, then it's going to be cooler wind compared to further south.
Yeah. Fun question.
Kirsten, any international schools in Braga? Oh, that's a good question. We haven't researched yet. Nope. We will be putting out a video in a week from today that will break down all of Braga. And so that's not ready yet, and not all the research has been done with it it yet. So
that's usually one of the last things we actually look up. Guimaraes was the one that we've been focusing on, which is what we shot over the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So information on that. But we generally touch on schools, especially if there are international schools. There might be, though.
Probably.
I would say maybe there.
It's a big city.
Yeah, I would say there might be like one or two. If there are, there's probably not many, but there might be.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Umberto, hi.
Umberto,
there is one big. Oh, there you go. There's one big international school in Braga. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, because if you compare it to like Porto has a couple, Lisbon obviously has way more. So I was figuring if Porto only has a couple, then Braga, which is smaller, one or two. So one.
We've got to give a big shout out to Umberto. So we put in the on the community tab, we put out a post saying, "Hey, we're making it to Guimaraes. Can somebody show us around?" And he answered that call yesterday. We met up with him. Awesome. We also met up with Miguel today. We got a Portuguese flag that he gave us. I've got to get him a U.S. flag in return, so you guys can hold me accountable to that. But yeah, we've got it in one of our shots for the video.
For the video. So yep, thank you.
As long as
guys.
G keeps it in.
He's laughing over there. Thank you for that. Okay, Nikki, hi guys. Which has a better wellness scene, like healthy food, yoga studios, holistic product available, etc.? Which like comparing Porto, Braga, Coimbra, just curious what.
Well, not Coimbra because that's a different region. I think I would say Braga from what we've seen. It's bigger, so it's got more variety. Comparing it to Porto, though.
Braga is bigger than what?
No, it's if it's Braga and Guimaraes, then Braga is better. But okay, Braga. So for food, Porto probably has more in the vegetarian scene. Yoga studios, because we're not into yoga. I'm just trying to think of like as we've walked around. It's probably, you probably have a decent time finding a yoga studio.
We know CrossFit is here because Grace.
That's right.
Grace she's a CrossFit coach. And she's the one that we did the interview with that we put out a few days ago.
Yeah.
The expat here.
Holistic products, both places available. And then there's also, online. You've got companies you can. I
think you just tend to find more of that stuff in bigger cities. Porto, so that would be Porto.
And then Braga and then Guimaraes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Eric, super chat. I almost said super sticker. Wine, beer, pizza, and soda for the Fab
We're just going to roll through them all.
And of
course,
over
here.
A pastry for Sia. Thanks for the continuation of the amazing content, info, and sharing journey. Thank you so much, Eric.
We appreciate that.
That's awesome. Actually, why don't you tell them about the pastry that you and Sia enjoyed yesterday?
In Guimaraes, we went to a recommended pastry from Umberto. Can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. I'll try to find it and put it in the description section. We had a pastry that was walnut, and it was a house specialty. It was a walnut pastry. It was so nice because it wasn't overly sugary. I didn't want all that sugar, and it really hit the spot. Walnut pastry. It
kind of looked like a pastel de nata, but it didn't have the cream on the inside, but it was brown on top with walnuts. That's good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I tend to prefer chocolate, but Josh and Sia liked it.
She's a chocolate pyramid type of guy.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Eric, though. Cheryl, any dishes specific to the area that we need to try? That's a good question. Well,
certainly in Porto and maybe in Braga, you could say, the francesinha. So there is a different francesinha that's in Braga.
So we actually were told that it originated in Porto, but Braga
perfected it.
Yeah, is kind of how they were saying it. Made it better. So I have tried the francesinha, of course, here, and it is different. The sauce has a spiciness to it that's different than Porto. So I think it's all about preference. I think I might still need a little more recon on it here in Braga because I've had so many in Porto, but it is different. The sauce is different. So I will give them that.
Yeah. Another thing would be rojões, right? The pork, I don't even know what you would call it. Stewed pork, kind of. It's not very saucy, but it's good.
And then Guimaraes, they have Guimaraes there.
I think that's how to pronounce it.
I think you're right. Guimaraes.
Like Guillermo.
Guimaraes.
Guimaraes.
Anyway, they have like meat pies and
Miguel says I said it well. Thank you, Miguel.
Josh says Guimaraes.
He's the one.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, actually, we asked that today, right?
Yeah.
So the meat pies are things to try as well. Kind
meat
of
pies. Yeah. British favorite.
Honeymoon always. Hey guys, what are your plans after Braga?
Great question. So we haven't hit our Patreon or YouTube subscriber goal, and that's okay. We're going to get there. But the end of that goal was if we hit 50K subscribers or if we hit 150 patrons, that we would go to one of the islands, and then whichever group hit that goal would select where we would go. But instead, we're not going to go to the islands. We're going to head back to Porto for a bit. So Amy and G have a couple more weeks with us, and we'll shoot some fun stuff in Porto. We're planning on highlighting Gaia, the Gaia side, because we didn't talk about Gaia, and also Matosinhos. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep working on content for the next couple of weeks while we have these two amazing resources with us in country.
Yep, that's the plan. All right, Jerry. Hey guys, I'm in the process of working on my D7 with my scouting trip coming up in 2 weeks. Any recommendations on where to stay while in Lisbon and Porto while I check them both out?
The recommendations on where to
stay, okay, I think Lisbon is really tough because it's so big and it's spread out.
Yeah.
So some of it's about preference on where you want to recon that you can get to easily, or just being down in the center where so much is going on. But Lisbon is tough.
Yeah.
Porto is also tough too because it's more walkable for sure.
I think Porto's easy as long as you stay, somewhere around Baixasay. Avoid. There's a certain neighborhood I think or area to avoid. I personally wouldn't recommend staying in Ribeira area just because it's probably the most kind of isolated, and then anytime you want to leave, you're going uphill.
And those tend to be older as well. The area is older.
But I think if you're in like Cerro Feita or Baixasay, you're so centrally located to walk around the rest of Porto to scout.
That's true. Move away
from
São Bento, the train station. Don't stay in that area.
Yeah.
A little further away from that.
Yep.
So the Porto is maybe a little easier, but a lot of good hotel options.
Yep.
So just read your reviews and make sure you read recent reviews, just because for a while hotels were closed and everything. So now that people are out traveling, look at the recent reviews.
Yeah.
Boulder Geek having a Portland IPA. Anything Josh needs a beer. Come on.
Thank you. Wish I had a Portland IPA right now. Nice.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Well,
That's
I guess
awesome.
you should say thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Cookmaster, how much would a 2-bedroom apartment cost in Porto that would be similar to those in US, not expecting pools and gyms? And is it common to see furnished apartments?
To buy, you're probably looking at around 200,000, anywhere between 150 and like 250 would be that range. Probably average around 200,000, and
maybe a little higher.
And
depending,
it really depends. I mean, you can get rehabbed or rehabbed properties for that. The problem is they're going to be a bit smaller. The bedrooms are going to be a bit smaller than what you're used to in the States. So
kitchen areas.
And we're talking about the ones that have been rehabbed for whatever reason. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think maybe it's because of the space of the buildings.
We've visited a ton of properties, and it seems like the older places that need a bit of work, need a bit of rehab, they seem to have bigger rooms. Have you noticed that?
I guess you're right. I think because a lot of people seem to be renovating for people to buy to turn into like
Airbnb
an Airbnb or a short-term rental. So that's why they renovate them like that.
Yeah.
Which isn't the most livable.
And then if you're talking about a rental, anywhere between 700 and 1,300 would be kind of a normal range. 700, I think, would be a pretty good deal if you're finding something that's renovated and furnished. That would be a deal.
It's easy to find for renting furnished apartments.
Yes.
Not so much for buying.
Yeah, that's not very common at all.
Yeah. It might be furnished when you look at it, but you're not buying the furniture generally.
Yeah. Good question.
Bram, Lemons, what are the best places for expats? Meaning specifically places where the most expats are located.
Okay.
There's two.
Yeah,
are we talking about in the north or just in all of Portugal?
I think they're probably talking about all of Portugal.
My two would say certain spots in Alentejo and then the Lisbon region. Those are the two areas that have the most places for expats.
In Alentejo?
I'm sorry, not Alentejo. Sorry, Algarve, not Alentejo. I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you looking like that? Yeah, no, not Alentejo. Sorry, Algarve, down in the Algarve. A few of those places down there, and then in the Lisbon region would be the two places that the most expats seem to congregate.
Yeah. I'm not going to elaborate on that. I think that's fine.
What time are we looking at? Normally, I say at the beginning, we're only going to go for 30 minutes.
Don't worry about it. We're at 36. It's all good.
36. Okay, we'll go for like 5 more minutes.
All right. Let's go.
Anna, hi. Just wondering if Porto is still your favorite place in Portugal now that you've seen so many other cities and parts of the country.
Anna, listen, Portugal is awesome. It really is. There has been nothing that we've seen that has like stolen the show from Porto for us. But Portugal's awesome. Now, is Porto everybody's cup of tea? Nope. It's not. I actually can't wait to find out what G and Amy's reaction to Porto is, because we have talked it up so much.
They're probably going to be let down.
They're probably going to be really let down. But we'll get their reaction in due time. In 2 weeks' time, we'll figure out how they feel about it. But there are a lot of very, very livable cities in this country.
It's about preference.
It is.
But we probably every city we go into, we talk about, is this better than Porto? And nothing is. Braga is really nice. I will say that.
Really nice.
Braga is definitely up there. Someone asked us, I think, on the last chat, what would be our top 3?
Yeah. I
think, and Braga has definitely moved into that now that we're here.
Yeah.
But Porto.
Yeah, Porto. Porto's airport helps out too. Whenever travel opens up again. Good question.
Olivia, is Portugal cheaper to live in than other countries you've lived in?
That is an awesome question. So, no. South Korea is super cheap.
Singapore was more expensive. The housing was more expensive for sure.
Saudi was the cheapest place that we lived, but we had accommodations taken care of for us. So we had hardly any expenses.
Spain was cheap as well.
Spain was cheap as well, especially at the time, but we were on pretty low wages too. At the time, we were just starting our teaching careers. So, yeah.
But Portugal is inexpensive compared to a lot of places in Europe for sure.
Yeah.
More inexpensive, I guess.
Olivia, there's a way to live quite inexpensively in Portugal, frugal in Portugal, but I think overall it's not easy. I think a lot of people get caught in a position where they want to transplant their lifestyle from where they're coming from to Portugal, and you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
But to steal Carl's quote, be Portuguese about it. So if you want to live like on a lower budget, then you have to watch what Portuguese people are doing and do what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It all depends on lifestyle, really.
Yeah. Good question.
All right. Siri Lion H, I'm in Braga also. Let's go for a cafe tomorrow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Email us.
Send us an email and we'll schedule something, figure something out. Cookmaster, thanks for answering my questions. Really appreciate it. What kind of visa are you guys on?
We're on the D7. Yeah. So
why we know so much about it.
Yeah. we vlogged that whole process, and there were so many people that were like, your vlog's awesome, but can you do a course on it? So we were like, okay, let's go.
So we will, after all of this, we can put the playlist for how we did it in the description, and the course info and everything too.
And how we did it's pretty much how the process is going now. With the course, we're updating that. We're getting feedback from people on how the process is rolling on. The cool thing is that we had to wait like almost 60 days for our visa to be turned around from the DC office. Now they're getting it done in like 9
weeks.
Like we heard someone just recently, 9 days.
Yeah, someone 5 as well that we recently.
5.
Now don't count on that.
Don't count on that.
But
we recommend like give yourself about 65 days.
Mm-hmm.
But it's happening fast.
And the reason we say 65 days is because we were told by the embassy that the immigration has 60 days to deny or approve. So you're not really sure. They could take those 60 days, but that's their cutoff. Yep. So that's why we say if you give yourself 65, it gives that little buffer to send in your passport. Because remember, you don't do that at the beginning. You just send a copy that's notarized. Then you send in your passport. They put the visa in and send it back, which is a quick process. So we gave ourselves, like 65. So it's a little tight. Some people don't want to do that.
And we understand.
Yeah,
that.
Give yourself a longer time if that makes you nervous, but it could come back faster.
Yep.
Yeah, which is a surprise, right? Ross or Kathleen Fields, being U.S. expats, do you hear anything from the Portuguese as to their current view of the U.S.?
We would definitely see more on the news when the election was going on. Mm-hmm. Not so much anymore.
People still tell us they want to visit the U.S. Yeah. Some that have been or haven't been, or they've got family there, and everything seems quite positive when you talk to people about it. Yeah, there's not too much, but people are quite positive about the U.S. That's what I think is always tough. You meet people, and I think people don't always aren't always a good representation of what you're seeing on the media, because they might not necessarily disagree with or agree with what's going on in the media. So they tend to be more positive when you just talk face to face with someone about countries. And
I actually came up with a really good quote that I'd like to share with you guys right now, and you can give us some feedback in the comment section. So I said that the U.S. is not as bad as it looks like in the media, and not as good as it looks like in the movies. So it's kind of that in between. And the person I was telling this to, they got it. They understood what I meant.
Yeah. That's true.
Let me know.
Good.
Am I on the right track there?
That. Cheryl, we emailed Kaylee and got some helpful info on our D7 visa process. Approved in 14 days. Yes,
See?
That's right.
That fast.
Crazy. Yeah. So
Good stuff,
it could
guys.
happen. It could happen.
That's awesome.
All right, let's take, I'll say 2 more. 2 more.
Who's it going to be? Amy's controlling it.
Yeah. Ooh, Cha237. Would you recommend visiting Porto at the moment for a holiday in light of COVID situation and Portugal's recent Delta spike? I'd like to come visit over the next couple of weeks, but unsure.
Do it.
Yeah.
You're probably going to see a lot of mask wearing outside.
Which is not government mandated.
Not government mandated.
It's not required.
And it's not happening in some parts of the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you stand with masks, but you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah, they're just asking that if you're in an area where you can't social distance, then to wear it. So sometimes if you get into a downtown area and you're very close together, then you might want to, or you should. But things are becoming more and more alive, so you'll see that there will be areas that will be busier.
Dense.
But yeah, you'll need a negative test to stay at a hotel or Airbnb, a short-term rental, but you need that for the flight anyway. So you just have that. And then you can pick up the little ones that you do yourself at the location.
The rapid test.
Yep, at the grocery store. So we would say come. Yeah, a lot of people are visiting now.
If you come, so, email us.
Yeah, let us know.
info@ExpatsEverywhere.com.
That's me. Okay, last one. Metal Gear, do you need to get a Portuguese driver's license in order to drive?
Depends.
Yeah. So with that, there are certain timetables. You can still rent a car, but you want to get your exchange is what they call it. So you have to exchange your driver's license in a certain time frame so that you don't have to take their test. And if you email me, I can give you all those details, and I can give you the website to where it gives you all of those details. And it's a fairly easy process if you hear back from them. Josh and I applied the same day. He has his driver's license and I do not. No idea why. They just say, keep waiting. So, and we know actually several couples that have done the exact same thing, sent in the same time, and only one of them has gone through the whole process. It's a bit of a process, but you can drive on your US to start off with, or you can get an international driver's license to start off with. But if you're moving here, then you will need to exchange it, and you do want to exchange it in a certain time so that you don't have to take their driver test down the road.
All right, guys. So catch us in 2 weeks' time when we'll be live from Porto. I'm going to stay in the comment section. I'll type back to you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. We had over 150 people. I think that was the first time. Thank you so much for the love. We'll see you guys next time. Now let's get moving.
Bye.